What's up guys and welcome back to On the Brick, where today I have this Muunilinst 10 Y-Wing which comes from Patrick's Customs. And you cannot buy this anymore. I spent a good while debating with myself whether or not I should even bother putting out this video showcasing this since it was something that no one can buy. However, it's Thanksgiving week, and thanks to my new wonderful job, I'm a little short on time, so I figured, why not show it off and talk about why you can't buy it? Unfortunately, I have no idea how many pieces are in this set. That information has just been lost to time, and that's because the website is no longer around, and even if it were, he no longer sells part kits anyway. However, this is extremely similar to the 2008 Clone Wars Y-Wing, so I'm guessing it has around 600 to 700 pieces. I might be wrong, but that's just my estimate. Also, that's Cece sticking her head in the frame there, and I thought I would keep it because she's adorable. Now, if you know me, I sell part kits, and this is pretty much the same thing. In fact, buying this was in part to see what other people did. Patrick's website was very upfront that it would take 4 weeks to get to me, and boy did it take 4 weeks to get to me. Now, Patrick is in school, but at the time it was the middle of summer. I don't know if he was still in school at that moment, but like I said, it still took a month for it to ship out and get to me. It actually got to the point where I was starting to get a little worried that nothing was going to happen, but we hadn't quite reached the 4-week part, but I think it was like a day or two before that point that I got the shipping notification. However, that's all quite irrelevant now, as like I said, it really just doesn't matter. This came in, and as far as I remember, there wasn't really any sorting to the pieces. I honestly don't remember the colors being separated or anything, but they weren't all just thrown together either. If you've ever purchased from me, you know that I like to separate not just by color, but by piece type as well. So all the blue will be in a bag of its own, but then within that bag, you will have the blue plates, the blue tiles, the blue bricks, etc. Obviously, not everybody likes that, and it is extra work, but for me personally, it just makes building custom sets like this a whole lot easier. And if you happen to not like that and you prefer everything being a mess, it's easier to do that from everything being together than the other way around, because I definitely still had to sort some of these pieces afterwards. However, with all of that said, the final product was actually pretty good. Not perfect, there are definitely some flaws we're going to go into, but still enjoyable. Now, one downside that some people might have is that there aren't really any play features to this. It's just a complete display build, despite being almost identical to the Clone Wars Y-Wing as I said. However, one thing you can do is open up the cockpit and comfortably fit a figure inside. If I wasn't awkwardly filming this, I would be able to get the character in there perfectly. Just know that you can. Right behind that, you'll find this dome piece, which absolutely sucks. It really does not stick to any of the other bricks at all, and the slightest nudge keeps knocking it off. You can, however, awkwardly fit another person inside. However, there aren't any guns back here, which is weird. This cockpit area is an exact recreation of that Y-Wing from the Clone Wars, without the guns though. Oh, and before we get too far away from it, there's actually not much inside the cockpit at all. You can put a printed tile piece here, but this is the version that you will get if it was still available. It's not bad, it's not great, it's just there. However, moving back down, there is a place for an astromech droid that goes here. I have these extra pieces in here for some reason, but yeah, you can fit a droid in if you want to. Now, these engines are pretty nice. Again, they are almost an exact replica of that 2008 Clone Wars Y-Wing. That is just so hard to say for some reason, with the only difference being these blue stripes are slightly different than that version. I actually prefer the look of the custom set so much better. It's a lot sleeker and smoother, and also this dark blue just looks really good. The back of the engines is almost exactly the same, though I've always wondered why those blue streaks don't go all the way back. Again, the original Lego set didn't have that either, but don't the Y-Wings go all the way back? While that sounds like a nitpick and definitely is, I absolutely am one for accuracy, and if you look at images of the actual Y-Wing from the Clone Wars, you'll see that these stripes and lines do in fact cover the entire engines and don't just awkwardly stop. But that's what happens when you're just recoloring an already existing set. However, with one big difference, there is absolutely nothing underneath. Like I said, there's no play features here. Now, personally, I don't mind this even remotely. This is perfectly and totally fine. I'm not really playing with this thing, it's just on display, so I don't care about this at all, but some of you might. One thing I do mind though is the lack of the shark face on the front of the Y-Wing. I get doing this is really awkward at this scale, and I still know this is a Muunilinst 10 because of the dark red. However, it's really missing the iconic image that makes it a Muunilinst 10, and that does take away from it a little bit. Now, overall, this was a pretty easy build and it looks good, but like I said, it is still about 90% just the original Clone Wars Y-Wing with some different colors and some very minor modifications. It looks good, but it's not entirely a custom set, to be fair. I'm still really happy to have this as part of my Y-Wing collection. It's actually one of my more favorite ones because of the color scheme, and to fix the shark face thing, I can always just design a quick sticker or something that I can print out for it. It's really not that bad. But, like I said and I've been saying throughout this video, unfortunately, you cannot buy this. Patrick Customs, as soon as I got this, told me that part kits were no longer going to be a thing on his site. In fact, by the time it came in, they were already off of his website. And this is something that I have seen several people do, because doing part kits actually is pretty time consuming, not easy, and really doesn't bring in that much money. Unless you're overcharging people by a ridiculous amount of money. For instance, I bought this for $130 and some other sellers are selling very similar things for $300. This absolutely isn't worth $300 and you should never spend your money like that. However, Patrick Customs has actually not been active for a while now, and that's because he went back to school. And honestly, that's totally fine. Unlike people like Star Wars Fanatics or Jonak Toys, when he was unable to keep his store going, he actually had the decency to temporarily shut it down until he can run it again. And that's why you can't buy this, because not only is the website down, even if it was up, he's just not selling it anymore. And because of that, I'm not going to do a rating for this. Just know overall it would be about a 7 out of 10. And I feel like that's still a little high. It's not a bad set, but it's really just not entirely custom. And that's nothing against Patrick. If he ever opens his store up again, I'll definitely be buying more from him, and I'll probably do a full review if and when that comes. But for now, please do let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I would love to hear everything that you guys have to say about this or anything else. And I would love to know who else sells part kits that I can buy from. I would love to check them out. Please remember to like and subscribe to appease that YouTube algorithm, and if you haven't already, consider checking me out on Instagram, Discord, and of course on Patreon, where your contributions go a long way towards helping this channel, and you can get shoutouts like Jonathan and Project Elements. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time.